House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries says if Congress wants to do its job, and if Donald Trump wants to do his job to really help the Americans, how about you put in the work to lower prices?
Democrats have made clear to the American people over the last several weeks that this country is far too expensive. The cost of living is way too high. And Donald Trump, as well as House Republicans, have failed to do anything about it. Donald Trump and House Republicans promised to lower the high cost of living on day one. Costs haven't gone down in the United States of America. It's gone up. America is too expensive. Inflation is on the rise. And Donald Trump and Republicans have failed to keep their core promise to make life more affordable. Housing costs are too high. Health care costs are too high. Child care costs are too high. Utility costs are too high. Electricity bills are skyrocketing as we speak because of the failed policies of Donald Trump and the one big ugly bill. And the American people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, can't thrive, and in so many instances can barely survive. America is too expensive. Republicans have broken our healthcare system and unleashed the unfortunate and painful reality that millions of Americans are about to experience dramatic increases in their healthcare premiums, copays, and deductibles. Millions of families will incur thousands of dollars in additional healthcare costs a year when they are barely making it right now. Democrats are prepared to support a bipartisan spending agreement that meets the needs of the American people in terms of their health, public safety, and economic well-being. But we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to rip away health care from the American people. Questions?
Do you consider a clean CR to be inadequate in that way?
In March, House Democrats strongly opposed the partisan Republican spending bill that hurt everyday Americans in a variety of ways, including making their health care more expensive. A continuing resolution that continues the failed policies of the Republican Party that we voted against is not the type of policy that actually meets the needs of the American people. Democrats broadly agree on two things. One, Republicans have launched an extraordinary and unprecedented attack on the health care of the American people. Extraordinary and unprecedented attack. Ending Medicaid as we know it. Setting in motion the closure of hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based clinics all across the country, including disproportionately in rural America. More than 20 million Americans are likely to confront skyrocketing healthcare premiums, copays, and deductibles because of the Republican refusal to extend the tax subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. As a result of the Republican one big ugly bill, Medicare is facing a $536 billion cut at the end of this year. And on top of all of that, Republicans are now trying to jam down the throats of the American people an appropriations bill that was just voted out of the Labor H subcommittee and then the Appropriations Committee that represents an all-out attack on public health, on medical research, on vaccines and on the Centers for Disease Control, an all-out attack on health care is what we are in the midst of right now. Every single Democrat stands against that and believes it is important at this moment, because of the extraordinary attack on health care and the fact that it is a cost of living issue, housing and health care being the two most expensive parts of day-to-day life for everyday Americans, that we cannot, under any circumstances, support a partisan Republican bill that continues to rip health care away from the American people. I believe that's a consensus position that brings together progressives, New Dems, Blue Dogs, Battleground members, and all points in between.
That particular point there, Zachary, I want to start with you. The data is abundantly clear what we are seeing. We are seeing a significant weakening of the job market because of what Doge did earlier this year, the massive layoffs that are taking place. When people get laid off, they're not buying food, it's housing. Now you're seeing homes on the market. We're seeing farmers, people who voted for Donald Trump in red states, talking about we need a bailout. I mean, so this thing is metastasizing. And what's crazy is that Republicans are going along with it. And what's also interesting to me, when you look at all of this economic data, I remember, my God, for 4 years, it was recession is coming, and it never actually came. And we are facing a more perilous economy today than we did at any time during 4 years of Biden-Harris.
It didn't come because of the 4 years of Biden-Harris. Because of the strategic leadership of the Biden-Harris administration, the fact that President Biden surrounded himself with the best economic minds that this country has to offer, this nation was able to pull itself out of the COVID pit that Donald Trump threw us in and begin an economic recovery that resulted in the largest bipartisan legislation ever that created jobs and that is still creating jobs right now in 2025, that is actually bolstering parts of Donald Trump's economy, no matter how determined he and his administration may be to tank us and take us to the brink of economic and financial ruin. We're not just talking about either role. When you look at what this administration has done to our economy and what this administration is doing to the American people, the 300,000 Black women who have lost their jobs, the 300,000 Black families that are being impacted by the loss, and these people, these women, these leaders in their employment. We are also looking, as you just said, to the Arkansas farmers who are begging for welfare and bailouts. The Arkansas farmers who are all over the internet begging to be released from the consequences of their actions because they voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump and they voted overwhelmingly for what we are currently seeing in this economy. They did this to themselves and now they are begging for welfare and help. And what is wild to me is I have not seen their champion. I have not seen their man come out, Donald J. Trump, and in any way talk about the fact that he is going to do anything to help them. And when you listen to Leader Jeffries and you listen to how he is framing the message, I think is 100% spot on. There are people out there who are criticizing this man, who are criticizing the number one highest ranking elected Black man in this country, Democrat in this country, for not doing enough and for not fighting back hard enough. He is staying on messages and he is ensuring that every single Democrat in the United States House of Representatives are also staying on message and bolstering people like what we saw in the previous clip, Maxwell Frost, to do the work of speaking out and using their platforms to bring awareness to these issues. Kudos to Leader Jeffries in that clip.
You know,
kudos to you, Roland, for sharing it.
You know, Tyler, there is fear. I don't think people really get it. And this is the problem that I have when people play politics. Okay, there's real economic fear. We're talking about folks because of tariffs, who are talking about losing their dream business, going up in flames. They invested all of their money into the business, and now they're like, what am I supposed to do now? So when people play political games, they don't understand they are literally playing with the livelihoods of people. They're playing with the livelihood. People are not able to now send their kids to college. Now that's impacting them. This thing is and so that's why when you are a political person, whether you are in the Oval Office, you're in the House, the Senate, whether you are a governor, state rep, state senator, mayor, city council, school district, a county commissioner, you take into account the carnage that you are going to leave in your wake when you make decisions. So therefore, you don't make hasty decisions. You don't make decisions just on a whim. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen for the past 8 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Economic fears are real, like rising costs and stagnant wages, and these safety net programs. It creates anxieties for families, and these anxieties then impact every decision that a family makes, as you pointed out. And I think Leader Jeffries calling out these high stakes is important because when shutdowns happen, Black workers are the hardest hit. And I would even just say him being a strong voice for working families, also pairs the defense with the clear commitments that if these things happen, we are putting families up against the wall, and also even highlighting the systemic inequalities in wages and healthcare and housing and education, and how this impacts Black and working class families. And so I think that's very important, because when folks have that anxiety, they definitely have their backs against the wall to make really tough decisions, and tough decisions about food on the table, about prescription drugs that you see here up on the wall, lowering prescription drugs. All these different these high stake decisions are being put on the table.
Rebecca.
Yeah, absolutely. So not only is it important with what not speaker yet, with what Hakeem Jeffries was talking about, especially as we understand that there could be a pending government shutdown that's on its way. And the impact with that, with not having an actual budget to continue to fund even what has been gutted from this administration of what social services and whatever other safety nets that are still available. And like the other panelists talked about, it's not just the farmers in Arkansas, but even in my home state of Nebraska. There's a lot of farmers out there who are hurt. They're asking for additional support. But at the same time, this administration told us last year that these are the things that they were going to do. And it almost appears that they are hell-bent in driving our economy into a recession. But we're almost like a train without brakes, and then there's no safety net at the other end. And so it looks like ultimately there will be a fiery crash when it comes to the economy, i.e. a recession or even worse. And it's very unfortunate because these things could have been prevented. But one thing I will say about this administration and even this Congress to an extent is that they forecasted that this is what they want to do. They want to tie all of us into their MAGA death cult.
And again, the people who are being hurt, a lot of them voted for Donald Trump. They wear their MAGA hats, and they now are seeing the repercussions of what happens when you have economic upheaval in this country. That to me is what is so difficult to look at. And again, so many people are being impacted.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.